it's Abby from 41more.com. Today I want to give you a sneak peek into these products, which are from Channie's Visual Handwriting and Math Workbooks. Now you can tell we didn't get workbooks. We actually got dry erase cards. We got one set that was the alphabet and numbers, and then another set that is sight words. So I want to give you a sneak peek into how we use these in our homeschool and how they might be useful for you. So first, let me tell you about the set of alphabet and number dry erase flashcards. So these are for kids from about the 4-year-old to 6-year-old range. You might use these when your kids are preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. Some of your kids might not know their letters, and this is a great product to use as you're teaching them their letters, how to write them, and even, going over the sounds they make. And then also numbers 0 through 10 as well. I use these with my 6-year-old. She's in first grade right now. She can read and she knows her letters, but her handwriting could use a little work. So that's why I wanted to pick these up and do this review. I wanted to try them out with my first grader and see if they were useful for her, and they were. So here's what you get with this set, which is the alphabet and numbers. You will get 26 cards that have, and they're pretty shiny, so I hope they're going to show up on my video, but on one side they would have the capital and a word, of course, so R for rabbit. You can talk about the R sound in the word rabbit, and you see underneath how there are like vertical lines to help your kids space their letters. And so this is really helpful. It doesn't just give them a blank spot and say, write your letter. I mean, it gives them a lot of coaching with the way things are spaced and the color blocking. And so then if they turn that same card over, you're going to see the lowercase r and also have room to practice the R, gives them some guidelines. You can tell it shows them where to start with that red dot. And then they have room to practice. Dry erase cards are awesome because instead of paper, where you have reams of paper as they practice, they just do it with a dry erase marker and wipe it off, and they can do it again another day. So these are great. If you're teaching your youngest kids their phonics, pick these cards out, have them practice writing the letter as they're learning the sounds. Now, like I said, my daughter already knows her phonics sounds, but she still had a lot of fun practicing writing these letters, several letters a day, as she got her practice. Now in this set, you also have the numbers 0 to 10. And so there you see they have plenty of room to practice, and the pictures are going to show, they can count, you practice counting. So for your youngest kids, like the 4-year-olds, this will be great for them because as they're learning to count, there you have things to count right on the card as they also learn how to write properly. So that is the first set we tried, the alphabet and number dry erase flashcards. Let me show you the next set. So the second set of dry erase cards that we got to try out are the sight word cards, and there are 100 different sight words in this set. This is excellent for your beginning readers. Right around the 5 to 6-year-old range is perfect. My daughter already knows how to read, but some of these sight words she definitely needed practice on, or at least practice with her handwriting, which is mainly why I got these. So I didn't get these mainly for her to learn her reading, although they're excellent resource for that. But I did get it because as a first grader, she needed a lot more practice forming letters correctly, and they've actually helped her quite a bit. They're great because, of course, if you mess up, it's dry erase. So you can just erase that and start over. So let me show you a few examples of sight words. And now let's talk about also what are sight words, right? As you're learning how to read and you're a new reader, you're going to encounter very common words in stories, but some of them don't follow the normal phonics patterns. So you need to be able to recognize them immediately because some of these words you can't decode. They don't follow the rules. So as you're reading, you don't want to get hung up on them. You need to be able to immediately recognize them and know what word they are. So here are some examples. Your beginning reader is going to need to know this word, right? Doesn't really make sense with their beginning phonics. They're learning short vowels and stuff. Well, the word you does not make sense, but they need to know how to spell it so they can practice and look with the guided lines and the color blocking And the vertical lines, they're helping your kids space words correctly. Do you see that little bit of space in between each letter? That's really helpful too, because most kids cram their letters too close. So there's one word on the front, one word on the back. That's one example. How about the word have, right? Most beginning stories, you're going to need to read that word. It doesn't make sense. They need to recognize it right away. And so, of course, the word from, and there it gives them guidance, the little red dot, knowing where to start each letter, and that's how it works. So let me wrap up and show you a few pictures of how we used it. So let me give you a close-up about how their shading will help your kids in especially lowercase placement. So look at the word one. This is not done correctly. Can you tell that the green shading right through the middle is showing the kids that the lowercase letters, the main bulk of them, of course, if you have a lowercase g that hangs down a little bit, that's going to go outside the green. But the main part of each lowercase letter needs to be in that green shaded area. So do you see how when I wrote this, I can immediately self-correct and say, nope, this is not staying in the green area. And then my capital letter, I can tell, should be spanning the green area and the white area above it. So this is not correct. Okay, so that's the beauty of these cards. Your kids can totally tell. Now, I've already traced over the sample. The first YOU was already dotted out for me. So I can practice, and then I can go ahead and copy what I learned and practice again if there are blank spots. If it's a short word, there's blank spots. If it's a long word, you just got to practice over their dotted lines. But do you see how it works? So I think this is really excellent because when you give your kids standard handwriting paper, it can be really confusing. And, they're not always grasping where the lowercase letters should be, how high, how small. And that's actually really what my 6-year-old was having a lot of trouble with, was the way she spaced letters relative to each other, or how lowercase letters were a different size than the uppercase. She was having a lot of hard time with that. So these cards definitely helped reinforce that. And because they're dry erase, there's lots of repetitive learning that can take place. I also think these cards would be great if you use a workbox system in your homeschool. You could stick a few of these cards in their workbox every day, different cards every day. And then it's easy. It's like a 5-minute repeated task, like 5 minutes every day practicing their letters. It doesn't have to be a whole sheet of paper practicing something 30 times. So I think it's a great resource to add to your homeschool. So I hope this has been helpful and given you a little sneak peek into these resources. I wish I would have had them for my other kids when I homeschooled them. Hey, I'm on number 5. This is my last homeschooled kid and she's in 1st grade. So I'm sad to have only found this now. It would have been a great resource through the years. So if you have young kids and you're starting out, I think you should get some of these resources from Channie's and definitely add them to your homeschool roundup. But listen, there are tons of other reviews from the Homeschool Review Crew. I'm going to link to them below, as well as all the links to checking out these awesome dry erase cards from Channie's. And in the meantime, happy homeschooling.